Felt like a day. My name is Mighty Wereball. Welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. We are just about to start the trial on the mystery body. And Kyoko has just appeared after being away for a wee bit, and we're going to find out what in the blue fuck is happening. I pressed the wrong button. That's not what I want to do. What do I want to do? Finish preparations. Let's do this. See if I can remember how the hell I'm doing this now. Class trial.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial, so your notes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment.
This is starting really fucking well.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and then the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you. Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost.
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There is a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay, so I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Now let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
One important trait Kyoko has that proves the body doesn't belong to her.
The gloves?
I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery, I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she exactly wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh, you know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right? It probably just got burned up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to lie. Just trying to fool us all. There's no way that corpse was Kyoko. But if I can't prove why, we're going to be stuck here, and the case won't move forward. So I don't have any choice but to... Oh, fuck. Okay. The Kyoko there's just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burned up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion?
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves, because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
Yeah, I'm with you, Biak. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so the fake nails and the gloves. Possible. Proof she's not a ghost. She wasn't wearing gloves. Burned up in the explosion. Then before the explosion, that one, no, stupid. This is gonna be a recurring theme, I think. I am bad at this. Right there. No. Wait. What happened there? No! There we go, for fuck's sake. Why was that so difficult? This is a bad start. No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves like that to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think? Jeez, man, you don't know woman, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know woman, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right there.
Okay then. Who's the real victim? First we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Okay, make your argument. Sprinklers, tattoo, exploded body analysis. God. Okay, if Kyoko really still is really alive, I'm gonna assume it's a tattoo. Then who died? There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face is scorched beyond any recognition. There wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body, then there's nothing else we can do, right? And the one thing that can tell us was on the victim's own body. Yeah, so it's the tattoo then. Kyoko really still alive. Who died? Could be some way to figure it out. Face was scorched beyond all recognition. No description in the Monokuma file. Okay. There we go. I thought I was going to fuck that up again. Break. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body. What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death. It's a weird way of putting it. A cruel and unusual death? This I gotta see. She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about. The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand. Oh yeah, the design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it to be like, you're my bitch. Seriously? They did something like that humiliating? They really did something that humiliating? No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo. Whoa, really? If you compare the tattoo to other information we have, the victim's identity should become clear. That would be the... what would that be? That. No, I keep pressing X. It's triangle. The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mikuro Ikusaba belonged to. Okay, so? To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body. Fenrir? The image that represents Fenrir is a wolf. Hangman's Gambit, that's the spelling one, isn't it? We're looking for a W. W. Give me the W. Or the fire again. There's W. F. There's an F. I know how to spell wolf. Shut up. This representation of Fenrir is a wolf. Fenrir, the wolf of Ragnarok, is from the Norse mythology, a huge world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki and a female giant. Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of a literary all-star. A wolf tattoo? Then that means... Exactly. The body we found had the tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mikuro. What? Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mikuro Ikusaba.
Oh, what? Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a class trial? No, it means we were wrong in thinking that Mikuro was the mastermind at all. But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me. Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, the other information came from... Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right? So that means Kyoko got it wrong? Then who was she? Who was Mikuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually, when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail. So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was just the same as us, just another participant. Then who's the real mastermind? It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster, after all. No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Makuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Makuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine, uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state it one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big old brains.
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body? Then, one of us killed Makuro? Wait, no. There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along.
Nope, there are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Makuro? Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you'll realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to.
Based on what we know, there can be only two suspects. That would be Makoto and Kyoko. You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right? Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after night time last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point there was no dead body there. So the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right, the four of us were trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which to say, the four of us have alibis. The only ones without alibis
are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow it down, the list of suspects.
Exactly so.
So the only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it, I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name. I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Bacchia, I can't help it, I keep changing from one to the other, can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? When she went to go get the pickaxe. So what time was the body discovered? It was at 9 a.m, baby. The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m, since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it?
Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so it's probably 9 on the dot now.
Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right, it had to be around then. So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning. For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around...
Oh yeah, right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it. Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. you don't have an alibi. The murder happened between 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. and I don't have an alibi from 10 p.m. till 7:30 a.m. Okay then, it looks like the game has begun. If I can't provide an alibi for that period, then I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I don't have an alibi. To do that, I have to make it clear when the body ended up in the garden. This is where the sprinklers come into play, isn't it? Sprinklers. Okay, well I'm going to go with sprinklers. Well, what I've got to shoot, I don't know.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30. It's more than enough time to commit a murder, I should think.
So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. That'll be that first one I've got to shoot, I'm guessing. There's something that happened in the gas. Yes, I know what to shoot. Sprinklers. Go doesn't have established time for them for the murder. That one there. Boom. Counter. Break. Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later. And what makes you say that? Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked. Hold on, I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet, dripping wet in fact. Yeah, because I chucked a bucket of water on it. Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong. I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the... Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words? No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers. What do you mean by denying the sprinkler? Are you trying to deny my entire existence? Absolutely, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Man, you're totally wacko. If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you better tell us why. I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with the certain evidence and that should do it. If we look at the body itself, that should make it clear. The state of the body, the explosion or the fucking... Oh, we're doing this doki doki... fucking... Triangle, that's right, okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to go quiet here again. Just go try hard mode. Keep doing the same rhythm. It's fine, I can do this. God. There we go. Final strike. Boom! I would go really quiet in that part, just because it takes all my brain power to keep the rhythm going. Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet? So they can only get the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac. I'm so sick of her. Let's just move on. The reason only the top half was wet was because we chucked a bucket of fucking water over it. Well, the body was still on fire. I doused it with water, but only the part on fire, the top half. Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it. So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning. Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9. But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 last night to 7:30 this morning, right? So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you. In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko. Kyoko's the only one without an alibi. Which would mean that Makoto's killer is... No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone? That's... I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of the school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. Huh? So are you saying you're not the culprit? Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time. Stop wasting energy. You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you.
You got it, boss. Shutting up now.
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her. Huh? She did? She thought Makoto was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Makoto wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there's a way the body could have been avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
A certain something at the scene was used to cover the body. Could it have been the tarp? Where was it? Boom! Ugh, I keep pressing X. Triangle. You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, was perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body is covered in blood? Wait, something's not right.
And what might that be?
I can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's going to think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said. Make your argument. There was no blood on the tarp. Body before the explosion, fragments near... Okay.
By covering up the body of the tarp, did Makoto really do it? The killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only on dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet. But the underside of that tarp, it was totally spotless, right? It's because that side was protected from the water, since it was facing down towards the body. That's it. Yes! Because there was no blood or any bullshit on the bottom side when it should have been covered in blood. Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself, not to touch it or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it. Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they used it. If they had, they'd have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything. Oh yeah, true.
More than that, what if the blood we saw in the body was meant as some kind of camouflage?
Huh? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim? You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know, they could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
They got blood from right there in the garden, right? Which must mean...
in the garden?
What would it have been? Duct tape wasn't in the garden. The chickens? Oh, chicken blood. Per chook. Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4. So you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it. I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? If that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand? When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would? I think so. No, it wasn't. Clearly wasn't. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves. Then that settles it. Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what? Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with a tarp. Then later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off at 7:30. If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier. But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after sprinklers had turned off? That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult. Huh? They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time. Maybe, but still. Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on? Oh no, I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later. Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say? That's not... Don't bother saying it's not possible. I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate. And the suspicion falls back on me again. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised dead body has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again our suspects are him and Kyoko. Serious man, which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds. Oh! See? Pretty good idea, right? No, not that. I just remembered something super serious. Well, don't just stand there. Out with it. You know that knife we found all black and burnt? The one that we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through from front to back. So, what about it? I'm pretty certain I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered. Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we going to do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Huh? Me? It's the knife we gave to Makoto? You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier. Yeah. Then why did you hide that fact? It's not that I hid it, it's just... I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her. Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced. Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Okay, make your argument. What bullets am I getting this time? Disguised dead body, exploded in body analysis, fragments near the dead body. Okay. Okay. The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that. If he did have that knife before, then... That seals it. Makoto did it. Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer? Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took the knife of yours and killed her with it. What a horrible man you are, Makoto. We've already established that the coat was put on the body after the tarp was removed, which means the knife was thrust the coat into the body. So it's the disguised dead body and then death by stabbing is what I'm clicking on. For that then, Makoto did it. Just got enough one, they make me the killer. That one. Missed it, didn't I? No, I got it. Good, got it. Okay. Break. Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Makoto. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard. Lies. We never talked about what killed her. No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that bloodstained coat until after they were dead. Okay, fine. So what? So when we discovered the body... The knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her. Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her, once to cover it up. The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No, there's no way that's possible. The exact condition of the body was written down for everyone to see. The Monokuma file. The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound. Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that. Then the knife was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. Well, they said that 2 strikes to the head, there was strikes to the head, and there was other scars and things like that. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime. So, they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch on to the knife as the cause of death to destroy any evidence proving otherwise. Oh hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that? If you bothered to put that lump of grey matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer. Well, if you're so smart, just tell me. I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion. I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that. Go ahead, Makoto, tell her, otherwise we won't make any headway on this. There's only one explanation I can think of for the explosion. The bomb parts. After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion. Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before. That's only natural because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb. Oh, then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb. Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko. Hold on a second, Bacula. What's the problem? Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim. That's true, it's definitely bugging me. What really killed her? Fine, I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless. We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Wasn't it like a blow to the head or the scars or something like that? Monokuma file number 5. Then shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury is yet to be determined, correct? The explosion didn't kill her for sure, I guess. Well, yeah, she was already totally dead when that happened. I know, but it wasn't because of the knife, right? Then there's only one other thing. Oh yeah, according to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed that she was hit in the back of the head. Oh wait, that's not... Whoops. And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body. The knife was a cover-up and all those other wounds on her body weren't fresh, which only leaves... Is it the first bit he says? No. The explosion didn't kill her for sure, I guess. She's totally dead when that happened. No, it wasn't because of the knife. There's only one other thing. According to the Monokuma file, there was evidence to show that she was hit in the back of the head. Well, that's right, there's no contradiction to that. More than that, countless wounds across her entire body. That all makes sense to me though. There's no point in that really says otherwise. Which only leaves... Oh, wait. How do I... Fuck. I always forget this. How do I... steal... The whole triangle, wasn't it? Whole triangle, right. Okay, so... What do I steal then? It's obviously not that. So shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury is yet to be determined. Explosion didn't kill her for sure. Don't doubt that happened. Because of the knife. There's one other thing. Part of the Morikuma file. That was how she died. I think. So do I use that and then on the first... what he says at the beginning? There we go. Break. Mikuru died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered. What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it? The Monokuma file makes it clear those weren't fresh wounds. Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they really don't matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head was what killed her. But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it caved their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way. The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it in the ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously? We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know. We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon.
The real murder weapon? Something heavy that could be used to crack someone on the head. The arrows? Would they be heavy enough to kill someone? The arrows? Huh. How would that... titanium arrow? Mikuru was hit in the back of the head with something and that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker room in the dojo. An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mikuru with?
Indeed, there's no doubt about it. Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird. Hey, how dare you backtalk to Master? You have no right. I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't blame Hina for doubting it, because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. But it's not heavy enough? Bloody duct tape, woodblock key, titanium arrows.
Titanium arrow. It was in the Dojo Locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon. Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said that the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? Still, it's just like an arrow would just be too thin. Talking back to Master. You have no right.
Okay, I think it's the too thin part I steal, but what do I counter that with? In the locker, right? That was a murder weapon. Are you sure? What's the problem? In the Monokuma file. It's a metal pipe. So if I take too thin. Is it too thin? Do I use that in the Dojo Locker? No.
What, you think there's some mistake lurking in what I said?
I need to think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in there somewhere. Titanium arrow. Dojo Locker. Wait, there was no, it was fucking, the arrows were all tied together. That's what the bloody duct tape's from. Too thin. There we go. Got there in the end. I'm getting there. Just bear with me. You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon. Another weapon? Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled up wad of duct tape. The killer probably used this duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did. It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation. Damn, that's harsh. How is it harsh? Were you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course, don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence. Evidence that Kyoko went to the dojo. The key that was found in her room. Where is it? Woodblock key. The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here, the key to the dojo locker. And how does that prove anything? Because I found it in your room. It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime.
This is all leading up to Makoto. I mean, Monokuma was talking about getting revenge on Kirigiri, so obviously he's set this all up and planted evidence that we all suspect her.
This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her, it's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know. I was just protecting you. What? She was protecting me? Then does that mean she knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue? Could that be when? Which would mean that Kyoko, she killed someone for me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait, I'm warning you, don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know?
What? Byakuya should know better than anyone. What does that mean? What does that mean? When the body was found.
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here. Byakuya, what are you hiding? Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated that theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker. And then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that? Wait, Kyoko gave her room key. That's right! He had her key. So... is it that one? No, it's not that one. So there's proof. No, the contradiction is the proof. It's the other way around. So I've got to shoot the proof with this. Isn't it? Do I shoot then? I'd forgotten that he had her key. Not the killer. What is it? Oh, not the killer. Byakuya, what are you hiding? Master would never hide anything. Proof. break. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room. Huh? Why not? Because she had given her room key to Byakuya. I see, so that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room, then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong? It would appear not. Then you're finally starting to understand. No, that's not actually true. There's a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie. Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer. Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning behind in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of the school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. The mastermind's trap? The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko? But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... The mastermind's trap. The victim was Mikuro and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? I have to decide right here and now whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. Oh! We'll have to leave it until the next episode to find out what I'm going to choose. Until then, remember, always keep it loud, keep it heavy. I'll see you in the next one.